It's Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti.
All right, we are back. All I will tell you is because I'm a supportive man, I believe in uplifting teammates. I will just say mistakes were made by Boomer in the picks, and we will leave it alone. I treaded water, and we will get – this is a new week, Boomer. No memory of it. You start anew. Are you prepared? Redemption.
Oh, thank God, please.
Come on.
Let's
it's okay.
I'm ready to go, and I appreciate you
Let's
picking
get to the
me
picks.
up, yes.
Picks of the week.
All right, we're going with just music. A little a cappella this week. All right, here we go. We start out the Browns. Laying 3, they travel to the Colts. No Anthony Richardson. It's the Minshew show. What do you got, Booms?
Did not like the way Gardner Minshew played last week. And if it is P.J. Walker for the Browns, then good for them because, I'll tell you, at least they can count on him. I don't think they can count on Deshaun Watson. He's dealing with that rotator cuff issue in his throwing shoulder. He's not comfortable. So I would think that it's going to be P.J. Walker. I do like the Browns defense. Everybody loves the Browns defense. So I will lay the 3 points, and I will take the Browns on the road.
Yeah, I think the longer you play your backup, the more exposed they get. Minshew's great in a pinch. He can come in and maybe rescue a game in the third quarter, but week in, week out, I got a real problem trotting him out there and asking him to throw it 40 times. I'm going to go to Browns, lay to 3. Bills, laying 8.5 at New England. Boomer, is this the bottom of the chili pot for the Patriots? Here we go.
Yeah, I think the Patriots have got to play well here. I think they're going to keep it within the number. I'm going to take the Patriots. I will take the points with the Patriots. Hey, look, man, I don't know if it can get any uglier than it already has up there in New England. They did play a little bit better against the Raiders. And, look, we saw the Bills. They haven't played great the last 2 weeks. They don't look all that sharp. I think their defensive secondary is a question mark. This should be a low-scoring game, so I will take the Patriots and the points.
Yeah, this is – and people, when I say, hey, if we reach the bottom of the market, it's just at a certain point teams get undervalued or overvalued. This is a divisional game. It's a divisional road game. The Bills, no Tre'Davious White, no Matt Milano. You shouldn't be going on the road laying 8.5, but that's how bad the Pats have been. But I have to do it. I got to take the points. I'll take the Pats. I can't believe this is a real football game. Raiders with Michigan State's own Brian Hoyer laying 2.5 at the Bears and some guy named Pete Badgett or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Tyson Bagent. Come on, he's got a family now, and I'm sure they're going to listen to this show. So he's from West Virginia, went to Shepherd University, played 53 games in college, Mike. And the last 2 years he was in college, he threw for almost 10,000 yards and 96 touchdowns. So say whatever you want. He played reasonably well against the Minnesota Vikings when he did come in last week in lieu of the injury that Justin Fields had, except for a really bad underthrown long ball. He might have led them to victory, believe it or not. And by the way, the last time 2 quarterbacks who were undrafted free agents squared off together in a game was Week 14, 2018, Case Keenum versus Nick Mullins. So that's where we are right now with this team. I guess you got to believe the Raiders and their defense can win this game. But something tells me that the home dog with the unheralded quarterback, I was got by the name of Brock Purdy. I think he played last year for the 49ers. For some reason, I want to take the Bears, and I want to take Tyson Bagent in the worst way. So I'm going to take the Bears, and I'll take the points.
I will, in a hypothetical world, take the Bears, but this is one of my vetoes. If you're wagering on this game, you have an issue. Commanders, laying 3, traveling to the Giants. God help us all.
It looks so the Giants lost another lineman in practice this week, Shane Lemieux.
7 of the 9 offensive linemen who are on this roster to start the season are hurt. 7.
And who are they playing, and what is their strength?
Oh, the Commanders in the D-line.
That's exactly right. And it looks like it's probably going to be Tyrod Taylor. And I have to say, other than the mistake that Tyrod made at the end of the first half, he actually was pretty good. He didn't look so bad. Okay. It looked like he was poised. He wasn't panicking. And I think that the Commanders actually have a pretty decent team. Sam Howell is up and down. They got outplayed last week, yet still won. If this were
the
Daniel
Giants
Jones,
had a pass rush.
Right.
If they had a pass rush, I might be able to go there. I can't, Boomer.
By the way, if this were Daniel Jones, I would take the Giants, but I'm not taking the Giants because it's not Daniel Jones. He owns the Washington Commanders against the spread.
You know, Daniel Jones, he's not the only one with neck pain. You know who's got neck pain? Any Giants fan from having to look at this mess. Commanders lay to 3.
You got it.
Tampa, -2.5, hosting the former favorite team of this show, the Atlanta Falcons.
And what does Desmond Ridder not do on the road?
Play football well.
And win. So, I thought maybe if it were a 3-point spread, I would take the Falcons. But since it is 2.5, I am going to take the home Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield took a lot of credit for losing last week, said he played like hot garbage. I would suspect that he will come back and play well this week.
It's a bounce-back spot. Here's the other thing. As much as I love Arthur Smith, and we've talked about it probably ad nauseum, they're not averaging 20 points a game. I've said it for weeks. You got to sit Ridder down. He's killing your team. Last week, they had 4 shots. Washington begged you to win that game, and Ridder went, no, thank you. Please take this football. You can't. This kid is terrible. Tampa Bay laid at 2.5. Ravens, this is now a full field goal. Hosting the Lions.
And this is going to be a field goal game too. You know that, right? This is going to be one of those tight games. I don't know if I agree
with you. All right, go ahead. Who are you taking?
I'm taking the Lions. You know, I'm staying with the Lions. I think they're going to get to 6-1. And
wow.
And the reason I know they don't have their running game with them, but there's something about Dan Campbell. I think they had something really special going on up there this year. And this is one of those games that's like you said last week. It's a prove-it game for the Lions, and I think their defense is up to the task. I think they'll have something special for Lamar Jackson. Tight game, though. Very, very tight game. Comes down to a final field goal.
And understand, listen, I want the Lions to win. I do radio in Detroit. I'm happy for these fans, even though I'm a Giants fan. Boomer, I think you know this obviously better than anybody. You don't just waltz in week over week over week and beat teams by double digits in this league. There's just comes a point where the train comes to a full stop. Like, the Lions are still going to be good. This is a scheduled loss. It's going to be Goff, outdoors, wind. And if they win this game, I got to say Lions and Super Bowl in the same sentence, and I don't know if my brain's capable. I'm going to take the Ravens.
I can't wait until next week.
Hey, I want you to be right. Make no mistake, but I'm going to take the Ravens and lay to 3.
All right.
All right, Seattle laying 7.5 against Arizona.
Teams know each other. They're in the same division. Arizona, plays tough for about a half, keeps the game close. Gannon's doing a pretty good job. I gave him a B in terms of his coaching and keeping this team engaged. There's always going to be a mistake, though, however, on this offense. I hate laying the points. This is probably going to be my veto, Brian. So if I had to bet the game, I'm going to bet a bounce-back game by Seattle, and I would take them laying a touchdown and a half. A touchdown.
I'm with you here.
Yes.
And I think the book is they're begging you to take the Cardinals. I had the Rams last week for this reason. Arizona, I think you said it best, Boomer. It's like weird stuff just happens to them in the second half. And it does. And you feel like the downward hill is here. Seattle, come home, get right, bounce back. DK, make them happy. DK was about to kill somebody last week. I'll go Seattle, lay the 7.5.
The one thing interesting about the Cardinals quickly is that, Kyler Murray is back to practice now. And be interesting.
What a blessing.
It was interesting to see if they play him, because this is one of those teams where Josh Dobbs is going to be in the NFL for the next 10 years. All right, he's proven that he can play. It's just that he's not a starting quarterback, and that's why weird things happen in games when guys who are backups end up playing a lot, like you said earlier. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the Cardinals do with Kyler Murray, because I'm sure they have one eye on this very talented draft class coming out of college.
Yeah, and I've got a question for you later on that, actually, so great segue. Rams laying 3, hosting the Steelers, even though there will be more Steeler fans at SoFi than Ram fans.
Yeah, it's amazing. Aren't the Rams have been really interesting. Fun team to watch, man. And with Cooper Kupp back, I think they are better than any of us thought they were going to be. I don't believe in the Steelers offense. I just don't. I believe in Matthew Stafford over Kenny Pickett. The question is Matthew Stafford going to make it through this game with T.J. Watt hanging all over him?
And no Kyron Williams.
And no
who's
Kyron
been a
Williams.
revelation for them.
That's right. I'm going to take the Steelers and the points on the road here.
I'm probably going to do the same thing. I don't love it. This is not a game I would personally bet. I think the number's right where it needs to be. Tepid. This is probably my most tepid selection. I'll go Steelers. This is a game if you don't let friends bet this game.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
Packers laying 1 at the Broncos.
Yeah, I'm going to
do not allow a friend to bet this game.
Right. I don't. This is another veto for me. This is veto number 2. I would take the Packers, however, just because there's something amiss in Denver, and it's interpersonal relationships, it's weirdness. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on there. They tend to play one half of football, and it's usually the first half, and then the second half they get run out of the building. Man, those fans are very upset out there in Denver. You know that, right?
Boomer, I was reading, I nerded out a little bit, but I was reading a Denver newspaper. They had over 4,000 no-shows at their last home game. That's unheard of for Denver. Unheard of.
And you could feel the agita in the stadium when you're playing and you're wearing the home jersey.
Big time. This is my veto as well, and I would hypothetically go with the Packers, even though that makes me sick. But that's a veto. All right, Chiefs laying 5.5, hosting the Chargers.
Well, I know one thing. 5.5 is a lot of points for the Chiefs to be laying. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this game. I think the Chargers are the more desperate team. I do think that the offense for the Chiefs has not been great. It's really been about their defense, who's played exceptionally well. I can't believe that I'm taking Brandon Staley. I don't think they'll win the game, but I think they'll keep it within the number. So I'm going to take the road Chargers with the number.
All right, so there's 2 notes for me. You hit on one of them. When you're betting the Chiefs now, you are betting a top 5 defense. That's not hyperbole. I mean, by DVOA, by the analytics, and frankly, by just watching the games, you're betting an elite defense. Now, when I looked at this, Boomer, normally I'd go, that number, I got to take the divisional dog, etc. I don't know that I can because I think that number's pricing in Herbert is banged up more than just the hand. He doesn't look right. I cannot stand Brandon Staley. I think it's some of the most low-rent coaching in the entire league. I'm going to go like reverse of the reverse psychology. I'm actually going to go Chiefs here. I know that goes against everything I normally do. Boomer, the Chargers are not right. And look, the Chiefs are going to move it. Are they going to continue to be this bad in the red zone? I'm betting no. But you're right. If they have to settle for field goals, that's A, it's a way to get you beat, but B, it's a way to surefire make sure you don't cover a game.
I got a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
I know you're taking the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick and Bob Kraft come to a meeting of the minds and decide to move on from each other.
Okay.
Does Bill Belichick end up in L.A. with Justin Herbert, or does he end up in Chicago with the 2 first overall picks? Or the Giants?
You're not going to like my answer, and it's not a cop-out. He should end up on Nantucket enjoying his retirement because if he goes somewhere else, I just feel like it'll be a disaster.
I know so close to that overall, win setting that mark. I think that's what he wants. I would want it if I were him.
Could he handle L.A. or would he lose his mind?
Does anybody really care? I mean, that's the point. He cares. And having Justin Herbert as your quarterback, man, you are
noted.
Add water, start winning games.
It's why I said Sean Payton shouldn't have taken the Bronco job. He should have waited for this one. Oh, well, too bad. Not my problem. Niners laying 7.5. They go to Minnesota. Niners are all kinds of banged up here, people.
They are. So I don't suspect that Christian McCaffrey's going to play, but I do think that Deebo Samuel will play. Big question for me would be Trent Brown, their left tackle. Their defense, I think, is going to be fine. They should be able to hold down the Vikings. It's a lot of points, man. I think it's a bounce-back game for the 49ers. I'm going to take the 49ers and lay the points.
This is tough. I'll go Vikings. I don't like this at all, but you have to do the things you don't like. I know the Niners will win this game, but I can't. I can't when they're all beat up, and you might be down Trent Williams. You might be down run CMC. I'm going to go Vikings.